You and I have the right to move on. Everybody else has. The point is I want to be in a relationship that works and is good. And maybe if you want a roadmap to get that, we start with some things that bother me about you.
So I was watching the footage of Robyn's accident, and honestly, I was just baffled. Kody and Robyn are out on ATVs. She takes a tumble, and then they casually drive off to some random spot to have a heart-to-heart. Yeah, that's totally normal, right? Anyway, it got me thinking back to my days as an associate producer, and after some serious analysis, here's what I've pieced together. First, the whole ATV ride, and Robyn's super subtle attempt at showing off her inner speed demon. Yeah, that was all part of the plan. The producers were clearly setting up the fun, lighthearted vibe before taking a sharp turn into some deep emotional convo. That's pretty standard, by the way. These talks are almost always planned in advance. Either they're based on something that happened off camera, or they're a conversation that's about to happen, just with a little producer-guided nudge. They wanted to ease us into the heavy stuff with some playful ATV action because, let's face it, if they just showed Kody and Robyn sitting down for a heart-to-heart out of nowhere, it would feel so fake. So of course, there's always a little setup like, tonight, we're going to a fancy restaurant, or today, I'm shopping for something ridiculous. Then, of course, Robyn falls off her ATV. Now, I really think that was actually her and not a stunt double for two big reasons. First, stunt doubles are expensive, and second, it would make zero sense in the context of the story. Think about it. Why would they go through all the hassle and cost of hiring a stunt double, a stunt coordinator, extra permits, and all that rigmarole, just for her to go, "I'm fine," and then seamlessly continue into the talk like nothing happened? It doesn't add anything to the story. If anything, it makes it look more staged, which isn't exactly the goal here. So yeah, Robyn really falls. We get one shot on camera, probably some shaky footage they kept replaying for dramatic effect. I'm sure the moment the cameras stopped rolling, they rushed over to make sure she was okay. Once she was fine, they probably told Kody and Robyn to do a little reenactment of the scene where Kody rescues her. That's why he's totally chill with removing her helmet, despite her hair looking perfectly styled afterward. Plus, her refusal to get up and that awkward dialogue, they were basically just trying their best to act like they weren't acting. And let's be real, story producers never tell you exactly what to say. They just say, "Hey, talk about insert topic here," and roll. The rest is up to you, which is why they sometimes come off like bad actors in these situations. So yeah, that's my theory. It makes sense, and honestly, I hope it's true. Kody's complete lack of concern for her was honestly concerning, but I also imagine production would be too worried about liability to just let him move a potentially injured Robyn. I just wish there were more cameras rolling, so we could actually see how they handled it. It would have made everything make more sense to the viewers. But hey, weird things happen on reality TV. Sometimes they just let the weird stuff stay in the cut. We've got so much to dive into today, so let's not waste any time. Let's jump straight into it. Hey everyone, what's up? It's Elena here, and welcome back to my channel Reality Nexus X. I just had a real-life encounter with Janelle, and let me tell you, it was not what I expected. I fly out of Raleigh pretty often, and since I've been watching the show from the very beginning, I know that people from the cast are sometimes in this area. So I've always joked with my husband to keep an eye out at the airport in case we spot anyone. Never actually thought it would happen though. Well, this morning, I was at the airport alone, going through security, and I noticed a blonde woman a bit behind me. I thought to myself, she looks so familiar, and then it hit me. It's Janelle. Suddenly, I was a nervous wreck. It wasn't just because I was seeing someone I've watched on TV for over a decade. Oh no, it was also because my bag got randomly selected for extra screening, and I couldn't for the life of me remember if I had taken my weed out of it. Turns out, It wasn't the weave they were concerned about. Apparently, they were just baffled by the Swiss turkey wraps I had stashed in a cooler bag. Classic. Anyway, I finally made it through security, and as I was putting my shoes back on, I crossed paths with Janelle again. So naturally, I nervously blurted out, "Hi, Janelle." She smiled and said, "Hi back." Then I added, "I'm a big fan," and she smiled again, saying, "Thank you," with the kind of grace you'd expect from someone who's been on TV for decades. I really wanted to say more or ask for a picture, but I figured if she was in the mood to chat, she'd have started a conversation. So I decided to respect her space. After all, having Kody Brown as your ex? Yeah, I'm sure that's tough enough without some random fan adding to the chaos. Afterward, I grabbed a coffee to calm my nerves, and about 30 minutes later, I headed to my gate. As I passed by on the moving sidewalk, I saw Janelle at her gate. She boarded the plane in Group 1, looking like the absolute queen she is. Oh, and for the record, I also saw Aspen recently while I was working. We only spoke professionally, though. I didn't tell her I recognized her from the show, because honestly, all I could think to say was, "I hate your dad." It's a real problem. Robyn's 2 older daughters are in their 20s now. Women, not little girls. They're legal adults, making their own decisions. So when they hop in front of a camera and say something, guess what? That's their choice. When do we start holding them accountable as adults instead of constantly making excuses like they're still 5? I just can't. They're barely younger than me, and I don't get what's so hard to grasp. Watching an adult woman get her ears pierced with Kody and act like she's 7 is honestly baffling. Having a full-on emotional meltdown and needing to be carried to bed at, 20? Yeah, that's totally normal. Robyn's really done a number on those girls. Let's talk about the Savior Kody narrative Robyn's been pushing. I remember an episode when the girls were younger. One of them called Kody by his first name, and Robyn flipped out. "Who?" she said, all confused. The girl corrected herself. "I mean Dad." This was back when their bio dad was still in the picture. Then there's the time when Aurora was excited to visit her real dad, and Kody and Robyn were practically whispering to the cameras about how, when the kids leave, they come back different, acting different. Translation: Robyn couldn't stand that when the girls returned from their dads, they needed to be retrained to believe that Kody was their father, not David. How unhinged is it to have a portrait painted of Kody alongside your kids, who were toddlers and hadn't even known him back then? That right, there is proof of how deeply Robyn has messed with their heads. Honestly, Aurora seems stronger than Brianna, though. Brianna? She's always teetering on the edge of falling apart. And let's not pretend Aurora and Brianna are the sweet, innocent little angels Kody and Robyn want you to think they are. My friend's nieces went to high school with them, and those girls were not the shy, sheltered types you see on TV. Brianna, especially. She was the classic mean girl, and let's talk about that party during coronavirus. Underage drinking? Check. Pictures being taken? Check. Of course, Kody had to swoop in the next morning, showing up at the house of the girl who threw the party and threatening to involve lawyers unless all those pictures were deleted. So yeah, don't buy into the fairy tale Kody and Robyn are selling. It's all a load of crap. People are so quick to tear down Mykelti and Peyton, and others too, like they're some sort of villains. Yet, for some reason, when it comes to Robyn's adult kids, everyone just turns a blind eye. They're not that much younger than Mykelti and Peyton, you know. Just to clarify, I'm not here for anyone tearing into the Brown kids, Robyn's included, with vile comments. They didn't choose to be on TV when they were younger. But if it's open season to critique the Brown kids after they turn 18, then it should be the same for Robyn's kids. Their feelings aren't any more delicate or important than anyone else's. The goodbye scene between Robyn and Meri, it was basically an emotional masterclass from Meri on how to shut down Robyn's drama. Did anyone catch how Meri was applying the gray rock technique? Because she was, and it was chef's kiss. Meri didn't give Robyn a single emotional response. Not even a hint of the validation Robyn so desperately craved. It was like Meri was a human brick wall. Robyn handed her a gift, and Meri couldn't even muster the energy to open it. Nope, Robyn had to do that herself. Classic move. Then there's the little gem where Meri says, "It's about me today," paraphrased, of course. Robyn's all sad and Kody's getting ready to swoop in and rescue her, but Meri shuts that down real quick. Like, who even needs a hero when you've done the work of establishing solid boundaries? Meri was basically calling Robyn out for trying to make the moment all about her. She saw right through the performance. Robyn was doing her usual "I'm so heartbroken" act, when in reality, she hadn't made any effort to connect with Meri in years. Meri knew this. She wasn't playing along. And let's not forget the line, "Well, we have phones." Oh, boom, Meri, you just dropped the truth bomb. It's almost laughable how much Robyn was trying to milk this for dramatic effect, especially when Meri was so stoic. Robyn was trying to get that emotional breakdown, pulling Meri into her house, practically begging for some sort of guilt-driven outburst over that hideous journal. But Meri, she just nodded and blandly said, "It's pretty," leaving Robyn disappointed and empty-handed. Meri didn't give her the reaction she was fishing for. And honestly, by the end of that exchange, Meri's over it. She was so done with Robyn's emotional manipulation that she practically closed the door on the conversation. The goodbye? Not even a blip on her radar. Robyn was left in her feelings, and Meri, she couldn't care less. Seriously, this whole scene just exposed how fake Robyn's tears were. You can't cry your way into people's hearts when you haven't made a real effort in years. Meri made it clear. Robyn's performance was hollow, dramatic, and totally cringeworthy. I'm so glad we got to see it all play out. Honestly, Robyn was a mistress. Hear me out. If you believe in polygamy, it only works when everyone is at the same stage of life and moving through it together. For example, newlyweds together, welcoming kids together, raising kids together, adjusting to plural marriage together, becoming empty nesters together, being grandparents together, retiring together, facing health issues together. You get the idea. It's all about unity, right? So tell me, how does it make sense to bring in a new wife after 16 years of established life and expect everything to go smoothly when everyone else is already at a different point in their journey? For Kody to basically start over with a new wife while the others watched him do it is like watching your husband have an affair. Picture this. You're at home taking care of your pregnant daughter while he's off getting a woman pregnant. You're on the verge of being an empty nester and he's raising toddlers. You've been married for years, but he's a newlywed again. It's insane. How are you supposed to relate to him or to her? How can jealousy not bubble up when you're living in two completely different timelines? He essentially had to go back to square one with a younger, fresher woman, while the others were left watching him relive his past. There were already so many things established by the time Robyn came in, and everything was flowing. There's no way a plural family survives a new wife coming in 16 to 20 years later, and if it does, everyone involved is just bottling up their feelings and rotting inside. Let's be real, this has been a sanctioned mistress situation. Forget R and K, this isn't it. And it's not just the age gap either. It's about how Kody didn't follow the same rules he set with the other wives, rules that had helped everything function before. Robyn came in at a time when they were on the brink of financial stability, so she's always going to be seen as someone who never had to pay her dues. This is why we're all so fascinated with sister wives. Even if most of us have never experienced polygamy, we see the drama and think, hey, I can relate to that. It's just framed differently. Affairs, fighting for recognition and support for your kids, splitting assets, dealing with emotional fallout. It's all too familiar. Kody really shot himself in the foot this time. Attacking Jen was a colossal misstep. Meri might have been willing to tolerate his nonsense for over a decade, but if there's one thing she's fiercely loyal about, it's the people she loves. Now, Jen or Leon, that's a whole other ballgame. Go after them, and it's game over. You'd think Kody would have figured that out by now, considering the time Meri casually said, "I don't care what you think. My kid asked me to go to this march, and I'm going. Deal with it." But nope, he just had to push that button. Get ready, because the tea is about to flow like it's never flowed before, and Kody can't blame anyone but himself. Remember, just a few episodes ago, when he said, "Meri's been so kind about the divorce, I'm never gonna slander her again." Fast forward, and now that he's being called out for trying to cheat them out of their share of the family money, suddenly they're all B-words, naggers, and lazy. Okay, Kody. Nothing really happened between those episodes except Kody betraying the one wife who was actually willing to play along. Why? Because apparently his idea of love is steamrolling over anyone who dares to stand up for themselves. Stay on his good side? Simple. Let him walk all over you and give him everything he wants. Kody genuinely thinks he has Meri under control forever, and I can sort of understand why. He's been getting away with it for so long. But he really messed up this time. I'm here for all the drama though. I know it's bad, but watching him spiral is just chef's kiss. Oh, and let's not forget the conversation between Jen and Meri, where Meri reveals she's been covering Leon's expenses on her own, but had to contribute to the family fund for everyone else's kids. Then Kody's response? I don't want to talk about that. Yeah, sure, Kody, real classy. You're a piece of work. Mykelti, ever the spotlight seeker, tried to steer the conversation back to herself and Tony, claiming that Christine wasn't moving too fast because she married Tony so quickly. Isabel, bless her, just looked at her, nodded like she was humoring her, and then said, "I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about Mom." Mic drop. I'm living for the moment someone finally called Mykelti out on her constant antics. Now, if we could just get someone to do the same for Tony, that'd be fantastic. The guy feels the need to chime in every chance he gets, and it's exhausting. But what really set me off was when he brought up David's late wife. Why? It was completely inappropriate to think that was a moment to share. Just no. On a brighter note, I loved how Aspen supported Isabel. She reassured her that it was perfectly okay to feel like their mom was moving too fast. Aspen validated Isabel's feelings, making it clear that it didn't make her a bad person, nor did it mean anything negative about David. It was just an honest perspective on how fast Christine and David's relationship was progressing. It was nice to see that the kids can have different takes on things, but still be happy for their mom. Let me know what you think in the comments. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to my channel. I'll see you in the next video. Take care and much love to you all.